Well, let's bring in Chris Doyle for some reaction here for the UK. Chris Doyle is the Director of the Council for Arab-British Understanding and joins us from London. Chris, how do you think this will affect the Prime Minister's travel plans? We assume that a visit to Israel or the Middle East may be on the cards, although that can't be confirmed.
Since the start of this, horror show has given Israel unequivocal support for its actions. In fact, actually, the use of that term was quite appalling, because you should never give unequivocal support for one party in a conflict, because that gives them a green light to do whatever they want in their eyes. We've seen what has happened at this hospital now. It has clearly shocked and appalled everyone. The scenes of bloodshed are just horrific. And, this comes in a context of a wide-scale, indiscriminate Israeli bombing of Gaza. It's hit many, many health facilities. This afternoon, the World Health Organization was saying its 51 strikes have hit 25 health facilities, including 17 hospitals. Medical personnel have been killed. Now, let's be very clear. Attacks on medical facilities and personnel constitute a war crime in international law. So if the British Prime Minister does come, if he does go to Israel, then he needs to stop giving complete and unalloyed support to Israel, regardless of whatever it does. Israel imposed a siege. He should have condemned that. Israel has ordered civilians to flee an area even when they couldn't. He should have condemned that. And he should make clear that strikes on medical facilities are impermissible. We've heard that Israel denies it and that it says that it's Islamic Jihad. Well, then the British Prime Minister, other world leaders should be calling for an independent international investigation conducted ideally by the International Criminal Court. Cannot allow to have these crimes committed without any sense of accountability. We cannot ride roughshod over international law.
And in the UK, we've seen a rise in anti-Palestinian and indeed anti-Jewish rhetoric. We've seen a number of demonstrations and protests from both sides over the weekend as tempers have been frayed. There is a concern that in the UK, this anger will spill over. How much do you think the government's next response will determine what happens in the UK?
Well, political leaders, including the government, including the media, have a responsibility to ensure that their language does not inflame a very delicate situation. And what we have seen is, quite rightly, the widespread condemnation of the original Hamas atrocities on the 7th of October. What we have not seen at all in any way, shape or form is a similar level of anger at the killing of Palestinian civilians, at the way in which they are treated. That inflames a lot of anger. The idea that somehow dead Israelis are worth more than dead Palestinians. We've actually had genocidal comments from Israeli leaders. We will eliminate everything. They will regret it. That was the Israeli defense minister. We've heard these so often from Israeli spokespeople. We cannot be in denial of what they have said. And they appear to be carrying out exactly those in their operations, in their military operations. And yet, British leaders, others, say nothing. And I think that is unforgivable. And there needs to be a day of reckoning for that. Legally, we need to see proper accountability for not just for those who perpetrated war crimes, that includes on all sides, but for those who have condoned it and who have been complicit in them.
Chris Doyle, we thank you very much indeed. We will watch very carefully and with interest as to the UK government's response to the events of today. Thank you for the moment, Chris.